I've seen crackheads wake up zero, and they know for a fact they're going to get high that day. So how do you wake up with zero and you never even entertain the possibility of failure? You know for a fact you're going to get high that day. So if you can have the dedication of a crackhead, I'm talking to somebody who has a millionaire mindset. A crackhead has a millionaire mindset. They just don't know how to transfer it. They don't know how to transfer it to in a way that's gonna like work in their favor. The millionaire mindset has nothing to do with making $1 million. It has everything to do with what millionaires do to become self-made millionaires. It's a mindset. Show me somebody who has perfect attendance at work. I'll show you somebody who has a millionaire mindset. They just don't know how to do it for themselves.
Welcome to The Dash. You know, The Dash is that tiny line between your life start date and end date. It's your story, the chapters in your book, your journey. Get ready for real conversations with real people telling real stories about the realities of failure, setbacks, and success. Let's go. Let's
go. We're rolling. Let's go. The Dash in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today, y'all don't even understand. I just feel like I'm about to attract a bunch of money today because we have the man himself. You guys have seen him traveling all over the country. He's a motivational speaker. He's an author. He will inspire you to bring in the coins, Mr. Johnny Wimbrey. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much.
And I see you have a new book, so we're going to talk about building a millionaire mindset soon. But let's just start for
it matches your hair. Look
Are you trying to be funny?
Model.
Oh, because of the black and the See, he's making fun of me because before we started, I was like, why we look like cousins up here? Like,
nah, she called me light skinned. I said she's one stomach flew away from my color.
I love it. Okay, so for those who've probably, I guess people have really had to live under a rock to not know who Johnny Wimbrey is. Tell me, who is Johnny Wimbrey?
I'm home. I'm from Fort Worth, born and raised. Eastwood, 76119. Okay. Every time I do that, I feel like I got to hit somebody up. But I'm from, the rough area of Fort Worth.
Okay.
But DFW is my hometown. I lived in LA a few years, but this is home. I do a lot of international stuff, traveling and speaking. But, earliest memory of life, living in a battered women's shelter. That's the first thing that I remember about me. And that kind of opens up my message. They say that the first impression is the lasting impression. And if the first impression truly is a lasting impression, then the first impression, the first thing that you remember about you could be your lasting impression of who you are and what you're worth if you're not careful. And that's the mindset that I interrupted pretty early on.
Oh, wow.
After making a lot of bad decisions and mistakes.
Wow. Look, I can tell you're a motivational speaker because you just went right for the jugular, and I'm so glad about it. It's funny you bring that up because the reason why I call this the Dash podcast is because
I love that.
The Dash is that seemingly insignificant line between your birth date and your death date.
Yeah.
And nobody gives any attention to the Dash, but that truly is who you are. It's your journey. It's your story.
Yeah.
So, I guess we can jump right into it before we get
I love that because I teach people something that I was taught very early on, the 2 most important days of your life. And I think maybe this came from Les Brown. The 2 most important days of your life, the day that you're born and then the day you realize why you were born. And that happens during the Dash. The question is, what part of the Dash do you realize the why you were born? And if you can get closer to this side of the Dash where it's in your favor, the half part of your life, that's a very important moment. So I think the Dash to me is incredibly significant. But for me, it's how fast can you figure out why you were born where the side of the Dash is in your favor.
Okay, so let's talk about it. There are people that are watching today that are trying to figure out, how do I figure out my purpose? How do I figure out my why? Because we think, does life show us that, or is that something that we have to kind of...
There's not one person that's listening to me right now that doesn't already know the answer of what their why is. They may argue with it. They may argue with their purpose, but typically your purpose is connected to passion, and it doesn't let you sleep. The thing that keeps you up at night, the thing that frustrates you. And here's my, if I was being completely transparent, one of the things that frustrates me about people are are attached to my greatest gifts, my ability to communicate, my ability to get things real quick. Like I'm not the type of person that has to go through a process of believing something.
Right.
I go through the process of following people who are where I want to be. I don't follow parked cars. I follow people who are moving. Just because you look good and you sound good, it doesn't mean I can benefit from you.
Right.
I got to check the hood. I got to be able to, document. And for me, one of the key things in my life for success is I surround myself around the thinking that outthinks me. So I don't feel safe if I'm the smartest person in the room. I don't feel safe if I'm normally the only person talking. And people who know me, who only know the Johnny that's talking, when you see the quiet Johnny, people think something's wrong with me. Nothing wrong with me. I'm draining. I'm getting everything that I need to make it. And again, that goes towards, the earlier you can figure that out in life, your why and your purpose and your passion, and you can attach those things together, on this side of the dash, those closest. It doesn't have, I know you're going to use this one day, but because the dash is dope. I love it. The dash is dope. But if you're on this side of the dash, in terms of, after your 50% mark of your life or whatever you think it is, do you have to work harder? Yeah. Do you have to work faster? Yes. Is it going to be harder? Yes. But that's because you put yourself on this side of the dash. My earliest memory of life was hard. I failed the second grade. I got a brother, that was serving 40 years in prison. The only difference is I didn't get caught. So I made a lot of bad decisions. Sold crack cocaine at 14. The people selling drugs for me at 17. Johnny? She ain't read my book.
I'm going to. Well, hold up.
No. I talk about it a little bit in that book.
Well, okay, because and I honestly have not, but I've actually seen you speak before.
Yeah.
I've actually seen you speak live.
You saw me on a big stage.
I saw you on a really big stage,
yeah.
and which was huge. And I'll never forget how impactful your message was. But I hear so many stories every single day,
right.
and I want them to hear this story. I do want to go back for a second because I eventually want to talk about how. Obviously it was how you were brought up, the things that you went through that led you to your thinking. But we just talked about purpose for a second. And you said there's nobody that doesn't know what their why is. And Johnny, I'm gonna have to disagree with you for a little bit.
Okay.
Because here's the thing that I struggle with. There are things that keep me up at night. There are things that I'm passionate about.
Give me an example. If you're open to it.
No, for sure. Building our community, educating our community, changing our mindset in our community. I feel like I have so many resources and I want everybody around me to have these resources, right? And I want to be the connector. But I'm going to be honest, sometimes your purpose, how do you turn your purpose into a cash flow, right? Because, again, being philanthropy, community driven, I don't know how to turn that into a paycheck, right? So sometimes you think to yourself, is this my why or is this just a gift that I have and then my purpose is something? I don't know. Sometimes it feels like I just cannot connect the dots. And you wonder, why has God allowed me to be in this position that I've been in for so many years? Like, there has to be a purpose for him in mind, and you're just trying to figure out what that thing is.
And there's a difference between your passion when it comes to income and legacy than your passion when it comes to giving back in tithe.
Okay.
So for me, 10% of my time, my abilities, my assets, 10% of that I need to be giving back to something.
Okay.
So does that keep me up at night? It has, based on situations that are going on. Example, rescuing families that are in really horrible situations and nobody will ever know about it.
Right.
I'll never get credit for it.
Right.
But when I have moments like that, that does keep me up. But to say that it keeps me up to a point for me to run an organization, to go out and, make positive impact into a community, it makes me want to find somebody who's already doing it, who has the vision, who has the passion. They're not in it for money, but I can support them in that way. So with you, like, to me, the reach that you have, it could definitely transfer into wealth. But I believe that, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think that Jade cares. I think Jade cares about the community. And to me, that will open doors. It puts you in position that money can't put you in when you're giving back.
Don't you think that some people don't recognize their gift because they do it so naturally?
I think that anything that you do naturally is a gift. And I don't think it's you're not recognizing it. I think you're not owning it. And a
Mm.
lot of times, because you know, we play ourselves more than anybody else plays ourselves. Like we can get dressed up and suited and booted and
Mm.
go out and try to impress people, with who we are and what we bring to the table. But the truth is, you know, the thing that is going to like propel you or push you into your destiny, it's also attached to the thing that's tickling you from the inside of saying, hey, we're not done yet. And the only reason, especially the older we get, the only reason that we will ignore that is because we'll entertain the failure more than we entertain opportunity. Or a
Oh,
better way of saying it is you entertain the obstacles more than opportunity.
which turns into fear and keeps you
Yeah.
paralyzed. I think that for a lot of my life, and I can say a lot of my adulthood, I think that is what keeps me stuck. So I know that if I'm stuck, and
Mhm.
because you are afraid of the what ifs, right? Well,
Yeah.
what if this doesn't work out, or what if I take this leap and this
Mhm.
happens, or what if? And so
Yeah.
you look back, and now 10 years has passed. 15 years has gone by, and you literally become. And so I
Yeah.
know if I deal with that, other people deal with that.
I just on my way here, I just came from a Nancy Lieberman Foundation speaking to some youth, and the conversation that I just had with them was being afraid of something. There's nothing wrong with that. It's what's wrong is when you listen to the voice that says, if you do it, this is going to happen. But let me talk to the 9-month-old Jade, 9-month-old Jade that never got permission
Mm.
to learn the process of walking. You never ever needed a life coach to learn how to talk. There was something that God put in us that said there's more that's out there. So the same Jade that stood up 100 times and fell down before she could take a first step. And then when she did take the first step, she fell down again and again and again. Why does that 9-month-old Jade don't care who's watching? They don't. The 9-month-old Jade doesn't say, "Well, I'm not going to do it again because walking doesn't work. Walking is a scam because you fell down one time." The 9-month-old Jade is laughing at you. The 9-month-old Jade is saying, "What do you mean? 9-month-old Johnny, what do you mean you're ready to give up? What do you mean you're ready to throw in the towel?" It's like, we fell down 1,000 times. We didn't care we didn't give a damn who was watching. When did you become this big pump or this big chump, this big, whiny baby that cares when the 9-month-old Johnny didn't? So it's not
Lest ye
that
be like
we
a child.
run from it.
Mm.
I talk about it in my book. The hidden treasures of life are found in our youth. We're born to win. We're programmed to fail. Society programs us to fail, and it's on purpose. I'm not going to get deep into like the conspiracy stuff, but education is designed on purpose. Banks like design the education system to create an atmosphere for us to use them and need them as we're moving up. So I mean, but I'm okay with that. I mean, I've been playing a game my entire life. I just play it to win. If I'm gonna play a game, Jade, I might as well play it to win.
Listen, okay, I love it. You came in, you said your first memory was in a battered women's shelter.
Mhm.
Your brother was in prison.
Just got out a month ago.
Wow, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
You sold drugs. You made a lot of bad
A
decisions.
lot of bad decisions. Felony arrest in high school. Matter of fact, I gave my gun to a preacher at my homeboy's wake that was murdered named Mookie. And when I gave him the gun, I just basically said, I don't want to live like this anymore, because the mother of my homeboy stood in front of his casket and she said, I forgive the young man who killed my son. Now we're here to pay respect and then go get revenge. That moment, and if you want to hear something, listen to this. This is the most mature moment I've ever had in my life. And the maturity of that moment was basically me saying, listen, I don't love him like that. The mom has found forgiveness. I want revenge. I don't love him like that. And that was a moment. And I think a lot of times the reason that we miss the mark in terms of what could be a part of our destiny of increase is because we simply miss moments. And I was in that moment. Like the way you're listening to me right now, it's a moment. Major things can happen in minor moments, but people want these big ass sky open, like the epiphany coming down from heaven. Life doesn't work like that. Life comes like it's a sprinkle. And if you're not paying attention to that sprinkle, you're not gonna get the season.
Oh, go. It's the season. Slap your mama season and go, Johnny. Oh my goodness. Okay, yes. How did you, so that was a moment for you. And was it from that moment that you changed your mindset? Because there are a lot of people that can relate to your story.
Yeah.
So how did you make the pivot?
I'm glad you said that. Because my story, the only unique thing about my story is how I came out of it. There's nothing unique about what I was in because there are so many stories that are like that. How do you maximize? How do you not miss the moment? You got to stay in position, and not just stay in position. You got to be consciously in position. Like I can, consciously sit up here and, spit off some lyrics, but it doesn't mean that I can feel the lyrics of the person who wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's their moment.
Mm-hmm.
Stop looking for moments in somebody else's lyrics.
Mm.
Ooh, that's a book.
Okay,
Think
look,
about that.
you heard it here first. Hello.
and I think, if every conversation you have, and you know this as a professional communicator, there's always two things that are going on in the conversation. Someone's playing the music and someone's dancing. The person who can create the music and play the music the most, those are going to be the ones who are going to win. Because anytime you can get somebody to dance to something you create, you're already elevating, because these are the people, these are the followers, these are the, this is the squad that will pay to have access to your information.
Oh my goodness. So what was the moment for you? Because again, you have this rough start. First of all, how did you know that you were going to be an author and a motivational speaker? When did that start happening? Because you had to have had jobs in between and working. And
bad timing, but if you want to get the personality and the character of Johnny Wimbrey in high school or even middle school, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That character was me.
Hold on, which one? The original or this new Bel-Air? Because have you seen
what? That kid right there, I've never thought about it until you said it, but he got a little bit more of the swag that I had.
Okay.
But the silliness of controlling entire schools just by getting people to laugh. And I'm in the hood. I'm biracial, mixed black and white. I'm, I've always stood out, and I've always had to stand out, and I've always had to stand up at the exact same time.
Oof.
So being that, that character of, I feel the obligation of entertainment when I walked in the room. I was homecoming king, and I never played football. But I elected myself, and then I ran through the halls, vote for Johnny Wimbrey. And everybody just thought that I would do things just to be funny.
What were your parents saying, Johnny?
My dad, there's a flip to the story. My dad ends up raising me, and my dad was a trash man. Okay, let me give you a visual of my dad. Samuel L. Jackson on Pulp Fiction. That character, and that's no joke. I would say Snakes on the Plane, but I would say more cool, collected, like that. That was my dad. So to be raised by somebody like that, it was hard. I see my father talk to people with a gun in their hand. It was just so normal for me, the way I was raised and the way I grew up. But I always knew, that playing at the bottom was not meant for me. But the scary part of that is when you don't come from that kind of thinking, it's terrifying. And I believe everybody has an ounce of that in them at some point. I mean, you look at what you've accomplished in your life to become, a local voice, to a syndicated voice, to having your own show now. That's somebody, I talk about it in my book, is you participating in your rescue. It's not about who can help me out. No, who's willing to participate. I'm an investor. I'm sitting with you right now in your studio, but I'm making money in over 100 countries around the world, while I'm sitting here. And those are kind of mindset things that individuals begin to learn. If you could do this locally, you could do it internationally. If you have a local voice, you have an international voice. You have to participate in the rescuing yourself from local to international.
Sign me up for the class. When is the class?
In the book. It's in the book.
I am reading this book tonight from front to back.
I want to do something. It's crazy you said it, because I want to do something local. I would love to team up with something that's already in place where I can just plug into, because I know I don't have the time to organize it, but I do have the time to plug in and be a part of something that's that is giving back. I know how to wake up the sleeping giant that's in people. I know how to get to the 9-month-old Jade. I know how to bring that beast out, because that's the beast. The beast is not, this Jade. The beast is the 9-month-old. That's the beast.
Mm.
And I know how to wake that beast up.
Does everybody have the beast in them?
Yeah. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. Think about it. You won your first race in life. And this is how Johnny thinks. This is how Johnny talks to Johnny. Y'all have to understand where I'm from, though. I come from nothing. So when I look in the mirror, I got to build something. When I look in the mirror, I got to create something. I got to give something. So I got to talk crazy to myself. Johnny, yeah, you should be you should be in prison. You should be dead. You should be an abusive father. You should be an abusive husband. Yes, you are supposed to be all those things because the numbers are right. Jay-Z, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The studies are right about me. I just choose not to participate. So if I participate in the numbers and the studies that have been done against me, yes, that is where I'm supposed to be. Or I can interrupt that music and create my own. So me talking to Johnny, it sounds weird to some people. Johnny, you won your first race in life. Over 100 million sperm cells in little video, you made it to the other side. And that sounds crazy, but I had to talk to myself like that.
Amazing to even think. Y'all, we won our first race in life.
Take it to another level. You didn't just win. You will never see those odds again. Like your entire life will never be harder than your first race. You didn't know your name. You didn't know if you were male or female. You didn't know if you were tall or short. You didn't know anything about yourself, but your ass won that race.
Ooh-wee.
So let me take a little bit further. Not only did you win the race, every one of your competitors wanted you to die.
Oh.
100 million other people wanted your job. Hundreds of millions of other people wanted your life. And you made it to the other side. But you didn't just make it to the other side. It was total annihilation because the moment you won, everything else behind you died. So you tell me you're not born to win? You tell me that now that you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, you forgot the fact that you were born to win. You won your first race in life. See, I attach people back to that because you can't convince me that you didn't win your first race because you wouldn't be here. I've had people say, well, I was twins. Well, you even had worse odds, and it still worked in your favor. The whole thing is, man, if you're going to play the game, play to win.
Yes.
So I'm going to have a winning conversation. I can easily say to myself, Johnny, if they really knew the real you, if they really knew all the shit you got away with, if they really knew, well, that's the enemy in me. The enemy that lives inside me, inner me. Nobody can stop Johnny like Johnny. So
what do you do when, as confident as you are, you're successful now. Like you said, you're making money right now in 100 different countries. So everybody's looking at you like, okay, well, you made it. You did it. You beat the odds. You won another race. Do you ever have moments of doubt?
Yeah.
Do you ever have moments where you're like, I don't know if I can do this?
In the book, I talk about procrastination because we all do it, right? And it's not about saying I can't do it. It's really about how many times are you willing to fall before you get there? How many times are you willing to be ridiculed and people talk about you and, yeah, it's a scam, it don't work. Like how many times are you willing to push through that? Just like you did when you were 9 months old. So it's not really, do I have doubt? Of course, that's human nature. As great as a speaker as I would love to believe that I am, I know there are people out there that are better somewhere at something, but that's their better. My better is totally different. What I bring to the table, nobody can do it the way I do it because they didn't go through what I went through. But that's my DNA. That's my thumbprint on this planet. It doesn't mean that my thumbprint should be bigger or better than anybody else's. You just got to participate in your thumbprint. Like,
okay. Woo, Lord. Okay, he keeps saying, let me tell y'all something. He keeps referencing this book. And let me tell you, that's how you know, look, he's good at what he does. Because in the book, I say this, in the book, Building a Millionaire Mindset. This is not your first book.
No.
You have
From the Hood to Doing Good was the first book.
Yes.
And that's probably why I'm known a little bit more for it. But I wrote that back in 2003. That book came out about a year ago and hit number one bestseller in 5 different categories. And then it came out as an audiobook and hit number one again earlier this year. I'm very proud of the book. But people are like, why did you write the book, Building a Millionaire Mindset? Well, the subtitle is How to Gain and Sustain. To me, it's just not about gaining it or obtaining it. It's about sustaining it. It's generational wealth. And I wrote the book to my kids. Like it's literally a roadmap. If anything ever happened to me, God forbid, that is a roadmap. If my children just simply read that book, they will sustain generational wealth. I'm a first generation millionaire. Well, it's my responsibility to make sure there's a second generation millionaire. The Wimbrey name is not synonymous with success at all. We're more synonymous with the streets. Our name is known for, the other side of the world. So it's my responsibility to, kind of correct my wrong, to give back, but also to make sure that it outlives me. There are people that read the book that are worth a hell of a lot more than I'm worth, but they don't know how to teach generational wealth. They know how to get it. They don't know how to teach the generation. And most people will lose it in one generation. And my thing is, I always said, I'm not raising the next, fool. I'd rather swallow it and give it away to charity than to give it to a fool.
Yeah. Les Brown wrote your forward in this book. You also mentioned you have literally been on the same stage as some of the world's most known, the greatest speakers, right? Yeah. We name drop on this show. Yes,
I love it.
Okay, because we, just in case you don't think he's verified by now, we name drop on the show. So tell me some of the people that you've graced the stage with that everybody, because Les Brown, when I saw that, I was like, oh my, I am such a fan of Les Brown as well.
To me, well, next time he comes into town, I'll let you know. Okay. And I'll make sure, and maybe he'll come to your show.
Okay, that would be amazing.
He'll do it.
Thank you.
If he has time, he'll definitely do it. You may have to come to him, but we'll get it done. Les, to me, is one of the greatest speakers on the planet, greatest motivational speakers on the planet. And I'm saying that from experience. Now, if you ask him who the greatest speaker is, he'll say me.
That's really cool.
And that's and the reason I say that is because he's been saying it for over 10 years. He says it when I'm not in the room. I'll get calls from Trinidad. Hey, Johnny, Les is on stage talking about you, that you're the best, And what he's really saying is, I'm the most coachable. I'm probably the most coachable student he's ever had. I mean, I'm just the type of person, man. If you tell me a duck can pull a truck, I'll be the idiot hooking it up. Like you tell me the moon is made of cheese. That was
bars. Did you hear that? If a duck can pull a truck, I'll say pull it up.
I'm the one hooking it up. Like the moon is made of cheese. I'm getting the crackers. But I just don't listen to anybody. Like you cannot. You got to be verified for me to listen. And here's why. I don't have time to go backwards. I am more afraid of being a homeless again than I am of listening to somebody and doing what they say. And for me, having access to somebody like a Les Brown, I've spoken for the Zig Ziglar Corporation twice when he was still alive, and I was in my 20s. I've from Joel Osteen to Bishop T.D. Jakes, been on stage with Oprah Winfrey. Man, somebody just recent. Oh, you know what's crazy is I've been on stage with everybody in Beyonce's family except for her.
Okay, get out of here. Get out the door.
I introduced Mama Beyonce. Well, Mama Beyonce. Mama knows. I introduced her. I spoke before her. And then her sister, crazy ass sister, at a whole nother event. And then and coincidentally, I spoke either right before or after her dad at one event in Houston. So, if you throw some names at me, it'll make me.
You could have shut it down when you said Oprah. Yes, I'm saying, Johnny, you literally know everybody. I got to ask you this because people are wondering. They're like, how do you even gain connections like this? Man. How does it happen? Because everybody, the thing what I notice about the world, and literally, I could probably talk to you for like 3 more hours. And I know we got to wrap this, but people are always wondering, how do I get in the room? How do I get people to notice me? How do I get people to see me?
There's a whole chapter in the book. It's serving.
This man is good.
Serving. No, I'm serious. Like it's literally you serve your way. You serve. Like I would come work a studio like this and be the guy in the background, maybe the most talented person in the room, but I'm not saying nothing. I'm here to learn. So I was the guy. It's crazy because when I say I served my way, it's a chapter calling "Giving Up So You Can Get Up." You give up so you can get up. It's biblical. It's nothing new. It's not a new principle at all. But most people, and I would say men, even from where I'm from, serving another man, serving another woman, that's considered weak. Well, I started noticing that all those people who thought they were strong were also broke. I don't want to be strong and broke. I'd rather be meek and rich.
Amen.
So learning from people, man, and being willing to serve. I was the airport guy. I picked up celebrities just to be in the car and listen to what they say. I've served at lunches, and this sounds crazy. People probably don't believe it. I've served at conventions to the point where I had holes in my shoes and I would keep my shoes flat on the ground so nobody can see that I had holes. Like I was just, I mean, one time I had to go get IVs because I went too long without drinking water. And it was like 7 a.m. to midnight or something like that. But it meant so much to me to be around giants, to be around legends, to be around voices, because I didn't come from that. I was so addicted to listening to the thinking that outthought me. And addicted in a way, think about a crackhead. I talk about this in the book too. Crackhead. And I'm not saying in a demeaning way. I've seen it. I've experienced it, sadly. What I'm about to say is from my naked eyes, seeing it, experiencing it. I've seen crackheads wake up zero. And they know for a fact they're going to get high that day. So how do you wake up with zero and you never even entertain the possibility of failure? You know for a fact you're going to get high that day. So if you can have the dedication of a crackhead, I'm talking to somebody who has a millionaire mindset. A crackhead has a millionaire mindset. They just don't know how to transfer it. They don't know how to transfer it to in a way that's gonna like work in their favor. The millionaire mindset has nothing to do with making $1 million. It has everything to do with what millionaires do to become self-made millionaires. It's a mindset. Show me somebody who has perfect attendance at work. I'll show you somebody who has a millionaire mindset. They just don't know how to do it for themselves.
It's not very often that I am
speechless.
Yeah,
I saw it. That was awesome. Oh, where you at? Talk to me. I'm here.
just thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Just thank you for taking the time. I'm not even an emotional person like this, but because you don't know how many people are going to watch this and they need they needed they needed your message.
I thank you for
They
giving me
needed
the opportunity.
they needed this today. And it is true. You are a giant. And for you to, drive here to the studio and be willing to pour. You have so many other things that you can do. You didn't have to show up here today. And I hear you. And I receive it. And people that are watching.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So they can learn? Because sometimes people will see like breakthroughs happen, but they don't really understand the process. What just happened for you? It just became the Johnny show.
Yeah, I'm like, sir, I'm so supposed to be asking the
I'm
questions.
guilty of
here.
taking over.
It's funny because I do that on other people's shows. I'm like,
I do my best not to.
I can't have these professionals on here like this. I think sometimes at a certain point, you finally hear.
Moments.
You said it. A sprinkle,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of seasoning. See, I was listening to you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that seasoning just hit different.
Mm-hmm.
Your mama been using Lars and slap your mama your whole life. But for some reason today, this piece of fish.
It woke up. That's
Now,
good.
mama, this piece of fish, I don't know what you did. It's the same thing I've
This
always
right
said.
here?
It was this
Yeah.
piece of fish. And so in this moment, I think that I just received the message that there's no excuse.
Never.
There's no limitations. And I mean, to use the example that you just used about a crackhead will wake up with zero,
Mhm.
and they know without a shadow of a doubt.
No doubt.
And so through fear, through being afraid, through
Mhm.
feeling paralyzed, through the not knowing and the what ifs and the if onlys and all these excuses that our mind plays with us constantly, If a crackhead can eliminate all those excuses and by any means necessary,
Without a doubt.
I'm gonna get this thing today.
That's
Then what is stopping me? What is stopping the person that's out there listening? Johnny, this was not supposed to happen today. I got on mascara. Okay.
Me too. No, it's good. And I mean, it's those moments that remind me of my purpose too, though. So when I see people have moments, it really helps me want to do this more. And this is really my year of planting my feet a little bit harder into DFW. Especially, Eastwood, Stop Six area, like, where I'm from, Southside, like to just really get in. But, the voice that's in my head says they won't listen. The voice in my head says, why are you gonna, cast your pearls among swine, if you will? And I'll explain what that means. In the Bible, they talk about casting your pearl among swine. And I'm not calling the hood a swine. I'm talking about a mindset. There's a mindset of people that will pay me a lot of money just to have a 1-hour session with them. Like when I leave here, I'm having a call with Warren Buffett's niece, granddaughter. And we're talking about NFTs and the metaverse. Like there are things that are happening right now. And you would say, well, why would I slow down to go to the hood to have these conversations? Because that's my tithe. That's my plant. That's me giving back. There's a Johnny in there somewhere. There's a Jade in there somewhere. And if I knew that my moment came from sprinkling, I need to get my ass out there and sprinkle. So, regardless of who doesn't want to hear it, because a lot of them don't, especially when you got a book called Building a Millionaire Mindset. People think it's all about money. There's not one place in that book where I teach you how to make $1 million. I teach you the mindset, because once you have a mindset, nobody can take anything from you. If I teach you how to make $1 million, you can lose the $1 million. But the mindset, I can't take decades of experience, out of you. I just can't pull that out of you. You can go to any city, any country and get a gig or get a job because of what's inside you. And I want people to focus more on what's inside them. What is inside a crackhead that thinks I'm going to win today and they started at zero? That same thing's inside you. What's inside a 9-month-old baby that says, I don't care who's watching. It ain't time to go. I need to fall down some more. And I'm going to smile and I'm going to laugh and I'm going to pull myself up. I'm going to grab a coffee table. I'm going to grab my mom's leg, my brother's leg, whatever it is. I'm going to pull myself up, not to walk, just to stand. And then at some point, I'm going to be crazy enough to put my foot in front of myself. And I'm going to fall. And I'm going to fall and fall and fall and fall and fall. But something is crazy about that child because they keep getting back up. I'm saying, go get crazy again. Like, go get crazy again and tap into that giant. And that's why I wrote the book. I really wrote the book to tap into a mindset, not a manifestation, because the mindset will manifest whatever you put your hands on.
Amen. That's so good. You know what? We waste so much time on social media. We just waste so much time. So I encourage everybody, everybody wants to do the whole thing of, but I don't have time to read a book. You said it's an audio book too.
That's how I read. Like people think that I read books. My mind doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm so glad you said that, because I don't have a rule for you. She doesn't have a rule. Nobody can give you a rule for you. The rule is what works for you. You know you. The worst thing that you can do to you is lie to you. I don't care if you got 25 books. I read a book a week. That doesn't impress me. I can read 1 page a week and outproduce you reading a book a week, because I'm actually going to put to work what I read. So the way that my mind works, I have to have audio, because if I'm reading a book and I'm on page 11 and let's say something was good on page 1, guess where my mind is? Page 1. I don't remember anything the next 10 pages because just how Johnny's brain works. So audiobooks work for me because I listen, I visualize, and I play movies in my head when I hear things. And that's not always a good thing, because I'm easily distracted or I'm easily tuned out, but I know me. The worst thing that you can do is adapt to what works for someone else when you know you. The information is the information. Jesus said, it is written. He didn't say John 16. We try to impress people because we know where to go find stuff.
Yeah.
No, it is written.
Yes.
It is written. A man who doesn't work doesn't eat.
It is written and it has been wrote. Okay. So how do people pick up your book, or where is your audiobook?
The book is available at any major bookstore in the world. I give Amazon a shout out only because they can get them cheaper than I can get them. So the book right now on Amazon, pretty much, as far as I know, anywhere in the United States is overnight.
Okay.
Internationally, people get the books. I don't know how long it takes, but they're getting the books in 2 or 3 different days. The audio version, download right now on audible.com, amazon.com, and you literally can start listening to it right now. I will tell you this, don't skip the introduction because you'll get in trouble in the first chapter. You'll know what I mean when you get there. But the introduction to my book is it's basically me. It's a dedication from me to my father. My father was a trash man. My father teed my vision up like a golfer tees. I saw you post something recently, something about golfing. When you golf, the tee is off the ground 2.5, 3 inches to tee the ball up so you can have a better swing, right? Just a more advantageous swing. Just it tees you up. My father teed my vision up because he would take us during Christmas to go look at Christmas lights on his trash route. And he threw trash on the west side of Fort Worth where all the money was. And that's where he took us to look at Christmas lights. And that teed my vision up. So a trash man gave me my first motivational speech.
I'm getting ready to take a group of kids. We're going to do credits and cribs. And so I have a lady that's coming in.
What's it called?
Well, I'm doing a teen experience tour. So we're taking a group of teenagers, at least once a month. We're going to do different activities. In cribs. So one of the ones coming up next month is called Credit and Cribs.
Okay.
So she'll come in and teach them about the importance of credit, but then we're going to go tour these $1 million homes.
Come to South Lake.
So that they can.
I'll get a few houses open for you.
Really?
My house, we had a house fire. But,
okay.
So I don't know if my house is going to be ready, but I could definitely contact some neighbors, and we got some brothers over there that will want to give back.
Because guess what? I got to tee up the vision. I
It's-
got to tee up the purpose. I want.
Yeah.
I always say, like, there's a saying. I do these career days, and it's called "I am what I see."
Yeah.
And I got to show them.
Mm-hmm.
We got to pull them out of their neighborhood,
Mhm.
and we got to take them, and we have to show them, which is the same thing that your father did for you
Yeah.
on a trash truck.
I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part. I'll donate some books, whatever we got to do. I definitely want to be a part of this. It's crazy you said that because I had the exact same vision to do it in Fort Worth. And I just said, you know what? I don't need an organization. I need buses. I'll bring them to my house.
That's good.
I'll just bring them to my house. And
Well, we can make it even bigger because
Okay.
look, you just let me know whenever you're pouring. I want to be there.
Okay.
Whenever you start to do whatever you're doing here,
Same.
even nationally, no
All right,
joke.
y'all heard it. Same. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to team up and do some stuff.
And I'm serious because you even said it. Like, you got to be in the room with the people that. I got to be in the room with people that are smarter than me,
Yeah.
that are doing the things that I aspire to do.
And it's crazy. It's so simple to me. Remember I said that your gifts are normally what frustrates you about the rest of the world. And I remember thinking to myself, why don't they get this? Like, why am I getting this and they're not getting it? And it was almost like God said, well, that's your gift, fool. You're getting it because it's your gift, not because you're better than them.
Yeah.
It's your gift to teach what you're getting.
Right.
And it used to frustrate me. And what you just said is it's the sprinkling, it's the belief, and it's the vision. When you sprinkle on kids, when you sprinkle on youth, when you elevate their vision of what they see on a daily basis, it does change them. It activates something inside them. Because I remember thinking to myself, who the hell lives in these mansions? And I know they're not better than me. And that's something about me that I can say, I ain't never, ever in my life looked at another human being and said they're better than me.
I know that's right.
And I'm talking about even when I, mixing powder and water together to make milk. Like going back all the way to those days, I just have never felt something inside me that said somebody's more valuable than me. But I have had feelings where I look at people and say they deserve it more than me based on the decisions they made.
That's good.
Yeah. But it don't mean I ain't coming for you.
Johnny, thank you. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Go pick up the book, you guys. Amazon.com.
I made Jay cry.
Oh my gosh. We're editing that part out of this whole podcast. Just no, I'm just joking.
I'll find it.
Johnny, thank you so
I'm
much.
kidding.
And I'm holding you to it.
You'll see it.
I'm gonna be in those
100%.
rooms that you're in because I want to hear you. Listen, today has been a blessing. Thank you. And not only have you blessed me, I know everybody that's hearing this is
Thank you.
going to be different
That means a lot.
because of you today. Seriously.
I want to come back. I want to be doing more of this locally because I have been guilty of hiding at home.
That's a whole nother message. He coming back, y'all. Go pick it up. Building a Millionaire Mindset with Johnny Wimbrey. Thanks, Johnny. I appreciate it.
Jade.
Thanks for the support. Make sure you subscribe to the Dash Podcast YouTube channel. Also, we're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. And feel free to share it with some family and friends. Thanks, guys.